It's just much better. So no, I think there's a place for everything. There's a place for advertising-driven games, as long as it's not obtrusive in any way all the time. So yeah.
So speaking of that, what is a natural experience for an ad?
I don't think such a thing exists.
Oh, come on.
Well, we have partners here. An ad can be something that's like almost a trade-off of fee for service. Nobody here watches network television and is shocked when a commercial comes on. So I think
what about product placement?
I think product placement. I've worked on games.
Superman eating a bowl of Cheerios.
Can of Coke on the table and the generals are talking in the cutscene. I've seen games where we'll take relationships with companies where like maybe you have a game where one of the advantages of this game is if you're social games, you build a house and you have people over at your house. Well, in the game store, you'll buy things for your house. You'll buy a bed, you'll buy a chair. Maybe there's an IKEA bed that's free in the store. And you just click on it and you watch a little ad about how great IKEA is, and now you have a free bed for your place. You might...
Why watch the ad?
Do I want the bed?
No, I mean, well, there's some really interesting companies like MediaSpike, I think, right? Where they do natural... I think it's a little bit more of a natural implementation. You go to the IKEA store in the game to buy a bed.
Well,
there's no advertisement to watch, it's just...
Or Grand 2.
Or Grand 2, yeah, it's another great one. So they're doing multiplayer, so they can take a single player game, pop it into a multiplayer tournament experience that's branded by Coke. So you play the Coke tournament.
I think that's similar to seeing a commercial like that. It's just a small price to pay for the...
Well, seeing a commercial, I don't care what you say. Like every time I watch Hulu, I'm still annoyed that I'm getting an ad. So there's...
And I pay and I still watch ads.
You know, and I pay to not watch ads. You know?
Yeah, if I had time to watch TV these days, I would probably feel the same way. But yeah, I mean, I play lots of games that have ads in them, and I'm generally, as long as they don't like stop me cold and say you can't do anything until you watch this ad.
Right, because that's interruption, right?
Yeah, I think unobtrusive is saying you can do more if you watch this ad, but we're not going to stop you. We're not going to say, sorry, you've had enough fun for today. Now you have to watch an ad.
Okay, last question I have prepared, and then we'll open it up completely to the audience. You said you're playing games. What games are you currently playing?
I'm playing a lot of things lately. Right now I'm having a love affair with Star Trek Online, which if I could get away with it, I'd give them lots of free consulting, because I play it and I have fun, and then I think there's all this stuff I wish they were doing. I've been playing a few different iPad games. I've been playing Middle Manager of Justice, which is
I don't know that one.
A Double Fine game where you open a small superhero franchise and you have to hire heroes and get them out working and make a profit fighting crime. I think it's a lot of fun, and again, you know, I love their work, I love what they do, but part of me wants to send an email and just blow it out and like, here's some things that you take they won't take my money. It's a free-to-play game, and I'm trying to spend money, and they won't take my money.
So if you're a Star Trek fan, Star Trek Mobile is one of our portfolio companies.
Someone was telling me about Star Trek Mobile. I've not been exposed.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, it's one of our.
Do they make it on those neat BlackBerry phones? I'm trying to tie it all together.
No, unrelated. Lots of things happen here.
I tried.
Okay, let's. Anyway.
All right. If you have any questions, raise your hand. You're too far away, man. Okay, just yell.
Just say it. I'll repeat it.
I was curious, what's the current status of the whole complete gotcha issue that GREE was dealing with in Japan? And did that carry over as a problem to the United States?
Sure. Is there an issue with complete gotcha in Japan? It hasn't carried over to the United States. On the advice of counsel, it actually.
No one cares about gotcha.
There is no issue in the United States. It's not an issue. It's not on the radar in the United States. I actually think it's a brilliant thing, and I wish we could do more of it.
I agree.
Go for it.
Me?
Yeah.
So what's your view on paying for cosmetics and paying for mechanics in a free-to-play game?
Cosmetics, I think, was an earlier thing in games, frequently, because it didn't change game balance. I could buy a nice hat, I could buy a nice robe.
I'm going to actually disagree with you. I think that cosmetics work well for certain demographics. The female audience tends to really be attracted to anything that you can customize. It almost represents psychologically constrain themselves in some way if they can create and customize. But different audiences attach.
Well, and what about building, or would you say feature mechanics?
Yeah, other mechanics aside.
As an example of paid mechanics, how do you mean?
What?
As an example of paid mechanics, what do you mean by paid mechanics?
Okay, like, paying for mechanics would be something like maybe Mech Warrior Online, right? Where you can
play the game, but you can unlock actual mechs, right? That you have to pay actual money for, and they're fairly expensive. But I mean, you could get along through the game without those hero mechs. You know?
I think that part of what you said is the most important from my experience in client-based MMOs, especially as a producer, is as long as the players can achieve things and progress and get there without spending, I don't think it's bad to let other players spend who want things. Like, there's a really cool mech, maybe it's really powerful, maybe it's not. But the fact that I can complete those missions without buying it,
But it is still a significant advantage in the game. You know?
it depends on the game, yeah, absolutely.
And so I was just kind of curious as to what your views are, and what do you think the take is going to be on later down the future? Whether companies are going to be further exploiting mechanics and pay to play, which actually there is quite a lot of already, you know, or if it's just going to be some more cosmetic things that will maybe not actually change the gameplay, but might exclude a much larger crowd from.
I think that depends entirely on the type of game in the market that they're pursuing. The games I played or worked on from Korea and China were a mix of both. Because you had a lot of different kinds of players. You had your socializer players who would pay for cosmetic stuff, and then you also had more adventurous players who would pay for advantages, essentially. But there was a browser-based company in San Francisco who were criticized often for having pay-to-win.
Big point.
I don't know what you're talking about. But I think
I can say that because I work.
my position is balance. Just have a balance and never put players in a position where they can't accomplish something if they don't pay. Because then you're just extorting them. You're extorting them for their money. Don't extort players.
Okay, next question. Next
Let's wrap
question.
up with one more.
Any other questions?
Right over here in the front.
Make it short. Okay.
What do you think about users who tracking users on multi-screen experiences? And what are some of the things that Google last night for some of the issues? Are you guys having trouble tracking where a user goes from one to another and seeing what their actual usage pattern is from screen to screen to screen if they play a game that's across screens?
If I understand the question correctly, it's about tracking users. I would say different devices.
Yeah.
We do want to know if you're playing on a phone and a tablet, or a phone or a tablet, and we want to see what your behavior is compared to those. There are some casual games that I've heard anecdotally. Revenue is like exponentially higher for people who play the game on a tablet versus people who are playing on a phone. You might also find that people playing a phone have more frequent sessions, but lower session time, and that might suggest they're playing on the go, they're playing on a bus. And you could tailor what you're doing in the game to those people. You know they don't have a lot of time to be engaged, but you still want them to be entertained, so you got to give them something.
Not just the monetization, but also the game mechanics itself.
Game mechanics and content, because you can't monetize people that give up on your game. So if you find that your users are 4-to-1 ratio, they're playing on tablets, and their session time is 3 times longer than your other games, you know that these are people who are sitting down and actually playing on the big screen. Give them the experience that warrants that. Whereas if you have people who are frequently playing on a small screen for a couple minutes at a time, kind of just getting around gaming, make sure that your mechanics follow it, that they can accomplish a lot with just a few clicks. Don't make them have to tap 20 times to do something.
Maybe it was
Okay, let's wrap.
Yeah, we talk offline about it.
All right, let's give everyone a hand, guys.